And we are live. Welcome to the Michigan Bros Grow Show. And we got our fifth member arriving right on time. Meow, meow, meow.
Cheers.
Slide into home
Cheers.
plate right
Cheers,
on
chat.
time.
Welcome
Cheers,
to
everybody.
this nice Sunday we had. A little chilly
Happy
when
April,
it came out.
everybody.
Oh, it is April. First show of April.
It's like officially spring here in Michigan.
Yes. How's your trees doing?
They're good.
Yeah.
The ones that we got recently are the ones that we got
The
last.
newest ones that they sent a little early.
We've been bringing it in and out of the house, actually.
Oh, to keep her.
I've been risking bringing it in and out of the house. It's kind of a foolish thing to do to bring
No, that's okay.
your nursery. But dude, we don't want it to freeze. Don't really know
Sorry.
if they'll storm any kind of like freezing weather or snow or anything. We don't have that many little areas that we can like TP them up. So we're just bringing them in and out of the house. Two of the blueberries are like fully leaved up. Like they're like spring blueberries. The other two have like little sprouts of leaves with, their branches. The other two, we got 6 total, are only sticks and stems. So I was like, okay, yeah, those are cool. I could just probably leave those outside. I will in a second. Thank you. The mulberry tree is starting to bud, and so it's just at that like fragile part right now where if it does freeze, those little buds will freeze and it'll be fucked for the season. So just kind of going in and out until we can either get the greenhouse built or be able to keep them without them freezing, which in the next couple of weeks, it looks like we've got above freezing nights, above freezing days, unless something really drastic happens at the middle to end of April, which it always can. We might be able to plant in the next couple of days. So we'll probably still give it a couple of weeks just to be on the safe side, go to a little closer towards the end of April. But I think our last freeze date here where we are in Southeast Michigan is a little bit closer to like this first week of May. I don't think we're in that second week of May thing anymore. I've been trying to hold out to the second week of May, and I've been like way too late in the last few seasons. So I'm going to start calling my first, my last frost date a little closer to like the 1st of May. We are a little bit closer than that. Zone 6 now. We're no longer zone 5. So it's a little strange, little, let's say different than what I'm used to, but it's adapting. You got to get stuff a little earlier and plan a little earlier. I'd say the coolest thing that we had happen today was our chickens caught a mouse.
That was cool.
So we had to like chase off all the cats. Like we have a couple local cats that'll kind of come into our yard, and usually it's like, cool, come on in and take care of the mice, take care of the rodents for us. We don't have a cat, but our neighbors have cats, so that's always fun. We've had to chase them out lately because we have birds now, and the cats want to eat the birds. So I was like, shit, man, we're gonna have mice again. And well, lo and behold, the chickens actually take care of the mouse problem as well. So it looks like there was a mouse in the compost. We have a little chicken composting area, and the chickens took care of that. I'm out there with, I don't know, maybe with the OG or something, doing something, and all of a sudden, like, it sounded like ducks going crazy. Like I hadn't heard this type of squawking before. It wasn't their egg laying squawking. It was like they were getting something, and they were squawking after. One of them got the mouse, and I think they were all just trying to get after it. And one of them claimed the mouse, and it was her mouse, and the rest, they didn't share the mouse. Like it was her kill. Her
mouse. Alive?
Yeah, dude. Well, I assume it was alive. Yeah, they ended up getting that sucker. They went
like the chickens are trying to kill it or trying to keep it as a pet.
Well, they want to eat it.
Oh no, yeah, they're eating it.
Oh Jesus, that's weird.
They're T-Rexes. They're just miniature T-Rexes. They're 100% carnivores.
Oh yeah, I guess they're eating bugs. They're not eating plants.
Yeah, they love protein.
Well, they eat both.
They eat both. Yeah.
Oh, they eat
omnivores.
They like grass. They like vegetables. They like a little bit of everything, but they love protein. They love worms and
bugs. Yeah.
Good old omnivores.
Slugs.
Are you guys gonna make one of those black fly, like basically recycling bins, if you will?
Yeah, we'd like to, because my bearded dragon would eat that also.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like cut that loop for us.
Exactly. They I mean, they're like what? I'm trying to think. They're like $10 a pound, or maybe like $8 a pound if you go to Tractor Supply and go buy them dried. So to get them just free flowing out of this, basically a little cart on the side of your coop. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think we're gonna do that this summer. And
I get a
I drink
pound
so
of
much
dead
freaking
flies.
espresso. I have so. Oh, we get more than that.
Tomato growers out there.
It's actually more like the maggots, but
Hornworms
so-
are like $5 or $10 a piece. So tomato growers out there, you might be able to
Oh,
unload
the blue guys.
some of your and some of your buddies.
They are super expensive for like a thing of 4 of them for your pet reptiles and stuff. They're like $14 for
There it is.
like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
was breeding a couple of things because I didn't want to buy them anymore for when I had reptiles.
I think
Well, isopods.
those are those monarchs, or are those like a big moth?
I hope they're not a monarch.
I
The
don't
one I ended up liking the best was they have roaches.
I hope they're not.
It's not like gross Florida roach. It's like these flightless ones.
Dubia
Kinda
roaches.
gray.
Dubia.
Yeah, I used to breed dubia roaches.
Yeah, so I just started breeding those in totes, and that way I could feed them that.
It's so nice.
Yeah,
What were you feeding?
I can't remember. Probably just like
Oh.
vegetables or something throw in there.
No, I mean, what was the reptile? I didn't catch it.
Oh, bearded dragon. I
Oh,
had a
okay.
bearded dragon. Then I had crested geckos. That was the isopods.
I had a bearded dragon, and then I had an albino leopard gecko, and it lost its tail the first week that I had it, so it was nasty.
Yeah. I don't know. The leopard
Very
geckos
good
always
now.
looked mean to me.
You have one right now, Becca?
Yeah, I have a bearded dragon.
Nice.
She's
Nice.
like about 3 years old. She's still pretty young. Her name's Jo. She's pretty. Right now, she's like their version of hibernating. So she's pretty MIA these days. She's-
Oh, yep.
Have you ever had any snakes? I used to have some ball pythons.
No, I haven't had. They're cool. I just never.
I have a small pond in my backyard, and I technically am breeding gardener snakes every year. I know last year I showed the, I mean, what looked like a root ball of snakes. Essentially, well, they're not hugging. They're,
Yeah.
I assume, mating, and
Yeah, that's
forming a.
disgusting. I hate that.
Yeah,
Just
and
wanna
so
put gas on and light it and walk away.
well, no. Here's
You
the
see
thing.
stuff like that.
Here's the thing, Spartan. I was driving my 4-wheeler into the back, like I'll probably taking some compost out there or something. And as I'm driving by the pond and look down and almost run over this giant bundle. So I freaking turn my 4-wheeler real quick, pull it over, and get off. And of course, I scared them, so they all started scattering and everything. But you guys got me thinking, man. I should.
So fast.
They're just little garter snakes. They ain't doing anything. But
I don't care.
I should bring my chickens down there. You know what I mean? Because they.
Yeah, you should.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, man. Because thinking about taking care of mice, like, yeah, snakes will do that too, but chickens will just kind of kill anything smaller than them.
Anything that moves, they're gonna run after. Anything that moves, they're going after it. Like
You should see my 12-year-old running through the yard. We got one rooster in particular that runs after her every day. It's hilarious.
Oh god,
She keeps feeding them like human food. Like, hey man, come on, we're friends.
trying to be nice.
Yeah, it's just I look out the back window. She's running, and this thing's
Like that. You're like, honey, that's a raptor. That's what that is.
And it's the one that defended the coop against the raccoons too. So he's
yeah,
battle hardened.
He's battle hardened. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny when they like start chasing after you, like as soon as you walk anywhere near their stuff. It's like, chill out, guys, relax.
Do you guys have like a call? Because they can learn your voice pretty quickly. They can differentiate between the family members.
Yeah, they are obsessed with me. I will go like this,
Okay.
and they'll come for that most of the time. Yeah, if I'm in there, they're there.
The
If we
sound,
open the door,
the
they're
sound of
like,
the sliding door.
Yeah.
Sliding door, and they all just pop out. Boop, boop,
Mom, Dad.
boop,
Mom,
boop.
Dad.
yeah, I wasn't out there all day, and I finally go out there and go collect their eggs, and they just won't leave me alone. They're pecking at me, not viciously or anything, but they're just so interested. They just want I bring them food.
It's quite funny because you see cartoons and stuff how they imitate chickens. And they always like, whoop, 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 whoop. But like they just like, I don't know if it's because they don't have eyelids or something. They probably do have eyelids. They just always look very surprised. They're like, woo, 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 and they just have this crazy bobbing head. They're very fun. They are little predators, man. Keeping our garden clean. Very
I
happy.
think this batch of chickens, if you will, this flock I'm currently raising is the first one out of like the 3 or 4 I've raised that hasn't pecked my like legs and pants and shoes and stuff like that. Because I know wearing the Crocs out, the ones with the holes in them, you know what I mean? They think that's a feeder and they'll just start pecking at your toes and stuff. But there's always been a couple that I've always like try to like I don't know peck at my leg or like just show me who's boss or something. But I don't know this
Dude,
batch.
get you some rubber muck boots, man. They're not that expensive.
That's what I
Straight rubber
have.
muck boots. They go up to your knee.
Yeah, I actually got
Yeah,
those
you
for
should-
Christmas this past year.
Those are a
chore
must, bro.
dude. They're phenomenal, man. I wish they
I
were a
even
little
went
bit lighter
barefoot
so
in
I
them.
could
I don't give a fuck. I'll go barefoot in them even. It doesn't matter.
I like to
Always
put on
wear
those
this. This is wearing a
boots.
condom in there to get to not get molested by the chickens.
I like to do all my gardening barefoot, and it was really nice here the other morning. The sun was out, and it was a little bit warm, and I was like, oh man, we went and sat out there and had our coffee, and like I went out there with my bare feet and just kind of get a little earth in between my toes for once this year. Stepped into the chicken coop area, and at first I was like, oh, dodge the shit, and I was like, oh, they started pecking at me, and I go, oh, I'm out of here. I ran off and grabbed my shoes. I was like, damn, I can't do the barefoot gardening
Yeah,
and chicken run.
I always wear gloves and shoes just for them.
It'd be like at those fancy malls that have the fish. You put your feet in there to clean up your feet. You see, you can charge people for
Oh, yeah,
that.
there we go. Yeah, you might lose a toe, sign a waiver,
Right.
but it will get your feet mites. That's right. They will clean your
They're
feet.
funny. You
mites.
can also just push them away, and it's like whatever. I just stiff arm them. Like get
Yeah,
away.
they're not fragile. I keep having to try to explain this to the same one that's getting chased by the rooster every day, which is trying to feed them. It's like, yeah, if they're sitting on the door that like, that you open to grab the eggs from, there's like 2 or 3 of them that like to sleep up there every night. If they're up there and you're out there trying to grab the eggs and you can't lift it because they're on there, push them off. Like they're not fragile. They're just like, ah, and then they'll fly down on the ground. Then in 5 minutes, they'll go back to where they wanted to sit, but that's just, they're not going to move for you. They're not like a puppy where you just tell it to do something and it's going to do it, or
Yeah.
at least a dog at least.
We step over a little fence to get into their area, and they always will stand right where you're going every day. It's like back up, and then they like squat down. They do their little squat.
I'm like pulling the wagon, and like I'm making sure they're not in the way of the wagon, but then they like run in between the wheels underneath the wagon. I have to go really slow. I'm gonna run one of you guys over. This wagon's filled with stuff. Or I'm gonna crush your poor little toe. Move. I'm going beep, beep, beep.
I can't ever rake. Like I can't rake if they're anywhere near where you're at, because they'll just go right where you're raking.
Oh yeah, and then they start doing this. They do their own raking and pushing it out from where you just raked it from, and they're looking for shit in it. And it's
Yeah, they're always trying to help.
So enough of the chicken talks. I gotta shout out this whole crew here. I know Red just stepped away, but Hash Bash Cup was an amazing event this year. Last year was the first year I evented it. This year was obviously the second. Again, didn't make it till Sunday. So very appreciative of the support from the community, of course, and special shout out to, of course, Baked Pone, man. He's a natural at running my booth. I felt very comfortable immediately just walking away and letting him run it. It certainly helps to not only be familiar with my strains and kind of where I'm coming from and what I do, but also like having the industry knowledge and understanding the terminology and things like that. There was very few times where he had to like kind of look to me to like answer a question, even about the process or about
There's
how I
some deep
go.
questions. I was like, oh fuck, that's some extractor shit.
Yeah, and those
But
are usually
that's
the
what
ones
I
my
knew.
wife just like points at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was like. This is who you want to charge. You give him a second to finish, and you can ask him whatever you just said.
But hey,
Thanks
man,
so
I
much,
really
bro.
appreciate you stepping up, and I know like I said last week, pretty much everyone here offered to help, and fortunately, I guess for me or for all of us, it wasn't so crazy that we really needed too much help, but it was great to see all of you guys there. and the support you guys all gave me. And I mean, the cookies and the
Yeah.
tins of pre-rolls and the baby gifts, Tara. That's so awesome. And I'll shout out Shelly from Flamingo de Heat. She also gifted us some baby clothes, which was awesome. And, just so kind and generous and thoughtful of you guys. And man, it was a great event. We were pretty much done by like 7:30 or something Friday night.
Yeah.
Still had people walking up to us while we were bringing down the booth. And
Yep.
I mean, I got
Yeah,
the last of the lime skunk, I think.
yeah, you
Oh,
literally
yeah,
just dumped out
yeah.
the jar. Like, here's a shake. You just roll up some pre-rolls or something with that.
Love
Like,
That was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. You were already out of everything.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
I was late on Saturday. Well, Saturday afternoon. It was started at noon. I didn't really get there till like 1:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. Because I was at my hotel room packaging. I was packaging the Cobra milk and packaging more lime skunk and
I saw
packaging
the
up lights and
there was some commotion on the Michigan's Discord that was going, oh no, we think Fagoli's sold out. He's not here today or something. They were like, oh no, he's not here. Some other people were like, maybe he's late. Oh no, maybe he's sold out. Speculating.
Yeah, I try to put up a couple the Instagram notes and stories and things like that to let people know one way or another. But yeah, I had a couple DMs Sunday morning or this morning, asking me to like, hey, can we meet up? Like, you got anything left? I'm like, sorry, I really don't. Like, there's nothing. So it's back to gardening and harvesting and processing and doing all those single source things, I guess tomorrow or kind of tonight. I got some more plants to feed. Didn't get all the way through it before the show tonight, but yeah, I just want to thank every one of you guys here on the show tonight, especially Blue Kiss Gardens, everybody that was there. There's gonna be too many to name and mention, but I mean, literally hundreds of you guys showed up. And with that, I want to very quickly, I haven't done this yet.
Oh shit.
So we're doing, as part of the Hash Bash Cup for this year, I decided I was going to give away this Terp cooler. It's one of those Terp coolers that you can plug into AC or DC outlet. It's got a little locking latch on there, and inside is over a half an ounce of oil, a couple cookies, and a couple topicals. And basically, everyone that was fortunate enough got to enter in at the Hash Bash Cup at the booth. And here's all the entries. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull it. There's going to be one winner. I don't know how many entries there are. Probably like, I don't know, definitely over 100, but not too far over 100.
That's awesome.
And,
Somebody's gonna have a really awesome night.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Or whatever they find this out.
and I'm just going to try to pick here at random.
It is
There's a name and an email address on there, and I'm just going to try to be semi-anonymous with his name and not read the
And
email.
you get 2 hours to email back, and if you don't, it goes to the next one.
Yeah, no. It's 2 hours. It's crazy. All right, congratulations to Kyle G.
Kyle G.
Kyle G.
He's a G.
Kyle
Tasty,
G.
tasty.
I'll reach out to you via email, and I guess that's really all there is on the tickets. Here is the email address and your full name. So I'll reach out to you immediately tonight and try to get your information. I have no idea who you are if you're a fan of the show, but you'll find out tonight that you won, man. Congratulations, and thank
That's
you for your
awesome.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I want to answer a question real quick in chat. Susan asked me a little while ago if I or how I feel or something about using those clay pellets, the hydrogen pellets in soil. It can be done. It's used as like an aeration thing. I haven't really done it a whole lot myself. I have used it as a bottom layer in my pots to keep the bottom from being too anaerobic. I've done that before when I was bottom feeding. I've used them more in those kind of situations to mix it just in my soil. I don't see an issue with it. If used for aeration, I think it'd be fine. It's just clay, so it's going to be high in micronutrients when they do start breaking down. And they kind of wick. They wick water, which is nice.
Yeah, they also serve. I mean, from my, I don't know if their purpose is for hydroponics, but I've kind of understood them for being more for hydroponics. Whereas, like, if you're trying to aerate a pot or something or a bed or something, you can simply use perlite, or vermiculite for that matter. But perlite specifically, there's even other products of perlite type, like Growstone, some other things like that, which I'm not sure which has a cheaper price tag probably going to depend on where you're sourcing both. But perlite's relatively cheap. You can get well, never mind. I haven't bought perlite in a couple years, so I don't know what you could get a bag for. But very large bag for relatively inexpensive, like $20. I used to be able to get like a huge bag for it. Definitely more than I would need, and it would like just be sitting around for years. But like anyway, you can source it relatively inexpensive. That's a very common like like mixture. If you're using for like moisture retention, you might want to look into something like cocoa or peat, but those are going to have different outcomes depending on what you're doing or amending with. So if you want a little more acidic, use peat. If you want a little more balanced pH, use cocoa. Or you can amend with lime if you're using peat, but then you got more ingredients in your thing to add. So we like cocoa for our moisture retention for everything that's of like a base alkalinity. And like for something like blueberries or like roses or something, we would add peat without lime just to like lower the pH naturally. Even mix it in with the earth. I haven't used any clay pellets. I would agree with Spartan in using them for the bottom layer, though. I think that's a perfect purpose for them if you're not using them for hydroponics or even like lava rock or something like that. But, for a sterile, I mean, I'd say that's another probably bonus to the hydrogen is that it's probably more sterile. It's probably like a manufactured product coming out of a factory I don't mean sterile of dust and debris, but sterile of bacteria and bad stuff. So you probably inoculate it yourself. Perlite, you're going to have a hard time doing any type of like soaking or inoculating. I think it should just float. It's a pain in the ass to work with.
I used to put it in what is that thing for salad, like a colander?
A salad spinner?
No, just a colander, and then just spray it.
Spray it down.
Yeah, and that way all the water soaks through, gets the
Oh, a
dust
colander? Is
wet.
that what you said?
Yeah, just like a plastic
strainer
bowl with
colander.
holes in it, strainer. Yeah,
To rinse
something
it
like
or
that.
to inoculate it?
If I wanted to rinse it, so like also if I thought it was contaminated, I would just rinse it with something like bleach water or hydrogen peroxide water or something like that. But that's what I liked about perlite. What I didn't like was how it floats when you're like if you heavy water. I like what is it, pumice or pumice, however you want to pronounce it.
Pumice, lava rock.
Yeah, I like that because it's in lava rock because it stays put and it's just as porous and it's a little, I don't know. I know perlite's natural from a natural thing, but I think they still have to make it. Whereas, pumice and lava rock is just
I think it's like a glass product of glass or something like that.
I thought they did something to glass or something to make perlite. I'm not sure, but yep,
It's
there's
expanded. It's like
cheers.
expanded rock. I think it's just like rock from lava.
Well, that's what I thought Rockwool was.
Pumice, yeah.
Rockwell
rock.
is like spun. Rockwell is like spun rock. Like it's spun like.
Yeah, they expand. That expands it. I thought.
It's like cotton candy, but I'm saying like pumice. I think is expand like a rock that can get really high temperatures and it pops like a popcorn.
Oh, I thought you were talking about perlite. Okay.
So in my guess, I'm only guessing here. I don't know shit about these industries.
Perlite. That's what I was talking about.
The least manufactured product, is probably the lava rock. Again, it could be a processed product, but I'm guessing that it's as natural of something as comes. And then you'd probably, a lot more processing goes into something like the hydrogen.
I agree with you.
The rock roll, of course, is spun rock. I mean, that's definitely processed. And a lot of processing going into and the clay pellets. The hydrogen is going to have probably a lot of manufacturing going into that as well. I don't know if there's manufacturing that goes into the lava rock, or if it's actually lava rock. Is it real lava rock? Pumice?
I gotta look that up. But the perlite.
But apparently my voice wants to. So
perlite is small pebbles of natural glass, which contain a small amount of occluded, whatever that means, water, and are found in volcanic deposits. Right? Then they get smashed and softened by heat the water vaporizes, leaving behind large hollow spheres.
Oh
So they
wow.
probably
Okay.
smash those spheres up into bits for us. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see where pumice is. I'm
That's just a
hoping.
rock. Pumice is
Yeah, I'm
just a
hoping
rock.
they're just rock breaking up specific type of rock that's really porous, and putting it in bags.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Well, hopefully testing for heavy metals and then put them in bags.
Or yeah, I doubt they're doing that in the rock industry.
Guessing that it's
I don't know. That I guess that's judgmental, but fuck.
wouldn't it be like iron and shit like that in the lava rock though, because of
Could be.
it's coming from the middle of the ground? It doesn't seem to have
possible.
those qualities though.
Pumice is mined in Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, Arizona, California, New Mexico, and Kansas.
So everywhere that there's not
This is
an
from America.
it comes from all
Yeah.
areas without volcanic activity. The old
Maybe previous volcanic activity.
activity, yeah, is it like old? So it's mined.
Well, I think lava rock's different than pumice. Pumice is
Yeah,
a
that's
type
true, I
of
think.
stone. Oh, it is no. It's natural. It's natural volcanic rock that contains nutrients. And it's porous. Yep.
So that's more of just a mined product rather than a manufactured product.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I always thought it was nice because it was like, yeah, I'm just using
I was
nature.
So yeah, I mean, I guess depending on what the, probably there's a give or take to all of it, right? And the manufacturing is going to have bad outcomes. The quarries might have bad outcomes just the same. So yeah, I guess it's a price tag issue at that point.
I wonder if they could source it from the UP, because basically Lake Superior is on a whole fucking bed of ancient lava.
Well,
Yeah.
that's almost thinking like
I'm
if you
gonna Google where they get that.
if you go into Petoskey, right? We went to
You muted yourself somehow.
yeah, she muted
I'm
me.
dying.
Oh. I was like, I'm looking over here trying
Dab
to.
cough time.
What the hell?
That was a good dab.
This was
Becca,
Mac,
what was
Mac
it?
1.
Back one dab.
Oh, nice.
Totally over there.
Grown by me, extracted by that guy.
Super tasty.
Look how good that was.
Yeah. Diggity do.
Oh, here we go. While they are both volcanic rocks, they are not the same. Huh. Oh, look at this picture. I gotta bring this up. Get some education out there on rocks. Yeah, lava rock, pumice.
So is the red stuff dyed? Is there a dye in it? You okay? Is there?
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Does lava rock hold water? Yes. But then they don't ask, does pumice hold water? That's not very good. I thought the picture was nice.
I bet it's like not. I bet it's like soaked in like iron rust or some shit like that, or it's like a byproduct of oxidation and it is rust or something like that. Okay, so what else? We were walking the Great Lakes shoreline, and there was a lot of. We have some of it over here. I can probably show you, but a lot of like natural black lava stone, like lava rock, from just picking it up on the beach. We also found like iron ore and shit like that washed up on the beach. It's super cool. There's Iron Mountain, Michigan, like iron ore, and now I'm guessing pumice are both like natural minerals easily found along the Great Lakes.
Check this out. It says pumice. A little difference is pumice has a higher drainage than lava rock. Lava rock has greater heat absorption. Not that I guess we would need that too much. But it's good to know, like if you don't need the most drainage, maybe use lava rock instead of pumice or pumice.
I thought it was pronounced pumice.
I don't know. Let me Google that. Jesus.
I'm pretty sure it's pumice.
Let's get that Google pronunciation.
That's what I'm doing.
I was like, didn't know.
I am with Becca on this.
Pumice.
I say pumice. I say pumice.
Pumice?
Pumice. Yep.
So humus and pumice?
No, it's just pumice and lava rock.
Well, no, humus. Humus is like forest humus.
Oh, all right. Let me see.
Humus is not hummus, but pumice is not pumice.
I kept thinking he was saying.
Now I'm hungry.
That's what I thought. I thought he was talking about the food.
just didn't make sense in the context. Just so confusing.
And then Google thought I was talking about the food. Yeah.
It's like HUMOUS or UOS.
I think there's 2 M's in there.
Oh, really? No, that's the food.
We're not talking about the food. That's all I can think about now is chickpeas.
Yeah, I don't know how you. I don't think hummus is a word besides the food.
Organically Blunt is saying that it's dye in the red.
Oh, in the lava rock.
Well, the red lava rock specifically. I would almost wonder if the black shit's dyed black just the same.
Well, I never used to get the I wouldn't grab like the lava rock from Home Depot's landscaping section. That's just dyed. But they sell I think whenever I was in Florida, the grow shop had bags of lava rock that was for gardening, and it looked
Grow
literally
shop.
natural.
What color?
It wasn't that red.
Not
It was
that
like a burgundy or like a I can't think of the
Maroon.
it's but it's like a faded one, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the
It's much
saturation
more
has been turned
natural
down.
than that red. Yeah.
Hey, I figured out how to spell this word. It's just HUMUS.
humus. Forest humus.
Oh yeah.
Oh, humus. Okay, yes.
Humus?
Oh, this one looks interesting.
Shit.
Humus.
It's like whip and whip.
Humus.
Humus.
Dark organic material that forms in soil when plant and animal matter decays.
There we go.
There's a controversy around humus where some say that it is not created naturally.
Definitely ain't vegan.
How would it not be natural? It sounds like it's literally just
It's the circle of
nature.
life, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what they say. It's the smallest organic material is the humic layer, but all the humic acid that's made is made chemically.
Oh, humic acid.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well,
Shout out
I've
to
never
Fugoli.
used humus.
We just did.
My turpometer isn't charged. I gotta use my wrist.
Oh, geez.
We just did a half dab of Mr. Lime and a half dab of Cobra Milk mixed together
Ooh.
in there, and that was yum.
It's zesty.
I do like
Tingling in the right places.
You guys got some good flavors.
Oh yeah.
Look at Fugoli dumping his stuff out, man.
It's all right. It's gonna go right in my
I
dad.
didn't even.
I picked up one of those free Growly flights, so I'm pretty excited to try that. And I was super stoked to try that Makito in there. So shout out, Bake. Thank you for sharing that today. It's freaking delicious.
Yeah, that
It
one.
hits too.
So for Growly, I wanted to ask you. I popped open my Mac 1 jar sitting in the fridge all weekend. That sucker went with some pressure. What is that going on in the fridge? Volatilization?
The Mac 1 jar.
It's like it built up pressure
that new
inside the
jar I
jar.
gave you?
Yeah. Twice it did it.
Built
So I
up
thought maybe
pressure.
there was some chemical thing going on.
Probably off gassing or something.
Off
It
gassing or
sounds
something.
like
Yeah.
it could be, yeah. I don't
It
know.
was pretty neat. And then they reeked. It reeked. I had to stick my nose in it and just be like, and I gave it to Spartan and smell this.
Is it still juicy or is it kind of like a battery type?
It's juicy in the core. In the middle. So
Okay.
but
I wonder if it's that style of jar because it's thin and tall, you know?
yeah,
Those-
that's what I'm wanting. That's
Those are the two that they're literally the first 2 jars I've ever packaged.
two,
with
baby.
concentrate. Those are
Yeah.
meant for the pre-rolls, obviously, but I'm like, hey, if I'm, I actually ran out of those lotion jars. That's why I didn't put it in there. The 4-ounce ones. I normally use.
Yeah. I literally
2 ounce
said to him,
whatever.
I said, I like the other jars he gives me because if I don't have a long dabber, I can't get to the bottom of this.
Dude,
sucker.
I know. As soon as I started putting it in there, I'm like, I hope he's got a long dab tool. 'cause,
I got one though. I got
these
him.
things. Okay.
Yeah, he has one like that too for girls. He's almost just like that one.
Okay. But
What-
I
what-
also have these ones that are like the handcrafted ones.
He's
that are
got that
4
one
inches
that
long.
I don't know, that one that's packing on the end of it. That one's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
long.
he's got the assault dabber too. He could use.
I got the bang bang or the boom boom stick.
The what?
It's like a AK-47 on the end
Oh,
of
yeah,
a
yeah.
dabber. It's pretty neat. It's got an ACOG on it, so it's like that's an interesting combo, but that's for a
Yeah.
different day. Yeah.
It's for a different day.
I don't think you would put that sight on that gun typically, but that's some Call of Duty shit. But
We got
Yeah.
some goodies from Dankman Dan as well.
Shout out Dankman Dan. Yeah, I went over to Bakes today and shared some of that, so he's got some too now.
I have some of that, and then I'm about to dab this sugar cone.
Yeah, shout out. That's
I don't know
Chiba
who that's
Hawk with
from.
the
Chiba
sugar
Hawk.
cone.
I was wondering, how did you like it, Emily?
So I didn't have much flavor at first, to be completely honest with you, and
Okay.
I was a little disappointed. But it also didn't leave that waxy residue.
My next
So
question.
I was good with that. But I whipped it up today. I just was messing around with it. And I kind of smushed it around a bit. Both of us took a dab and was like just a mouthful. It was really good after that. So
Sounds good.
and still I'm getting that like barely a residue. So I mean, like I said, when I bought it, I seriously was like, oh wait, this is rosin. This looks just like Free Growly stuff. I was so excited. I thought I got something that like was Free Growly level. So but I also picked up some Free Growly. So
Did you just
Just a
use
little
your dab
different.
tool to whip it?
yeah, I just used the paddle part of the dab tool to whip it around a bit, and it just kind of opened up a bit of flavor. It felt like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You said that to me before that you should do that
Mhm.
with it, and I always forget. So now I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Give it a shot.
So I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait, and I want
I
to sit.
I especially do that when you see separation, like when you see the terps kind of separate out a little bit, you get that liquidy stuff. I like to mix that in to kind of spread it around evenly. I just like to do that because maybe when you get just the top part, it could be more THC, more of the THC crashing out, and less of the actual terps. So that's why it would taste less strong on the terp department. Am I right, Fagroli?
Say that last part again. It would taste less.
So, like, if you have it separating out where the terps kind of separate into the sauce and then the solid portion of it, if you were to scoop up most of the just solid portion of it, it would probably be way less flavorful than if you were to be able to whip it together and get some of that.
I would say it's not going to be way less flavorful, but I think you'll notice a difference once you take a dab once it is whipped together, or if you just took a dab of the terps themselves. But okay, let me try to remember the testing I've done, because even the high terpene extracts that I've gotten tested, which is essentially the terpene pour off portion, is still less than 20% terpenes. Whereas the combination of the two, say the high terpene extract is maybe 15%, the combination of the two might be 8 to 10%, and just the high cannabinoid extract, if you will probably be less than 2%. That being said, like, I would say 8 to 10, to 15%, you're probably not going to notice that much of a difference, but you will from like that 2 to 15%. Yeah, I mean, it's more preference. That's the beauty of the flights, right? Is I put the Cobra milk, I separated the diamonds and the terpenes and gave you both in separate jars. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could just combine them for either a massive dab or kind of like mix and match, back and forth between the buckets. But that gives you the option to kind of taste the difference in the experience. I will say that you're going to get a lot of flavor out of those, just the diamonds themselves. They still have a great flavor to them. But I don't feel like you're going to necessarily get the I don't know if maybe it has a little bit more of an entourage effect, if you will, once you start combining them. I think that's really the difference, not the flavor. It's like the effects.
Okay, cool. More on the effects side of things then.
Y'all just let me ramble too long.
No, because I don't know. I swear I thought it was a better flavor after it was whipped. Like before we whipped it, I didn't feel like there was as strong of a flavor.
What
Well,
percentage
the
are
Cobra
we
milk
talking?
specifically, though.
Not on the Cobra milk. I'm talking about on the sugar cone.
Oh no, I thought we were talking about his Cobra milk. So like there's like the crystally part on top, but then the bottom is kind of like a bit sludgy or a bit more like wet and a bit more liquid. And so like just doing that top part, if I were to grab just like one of those crystals off the top, Or should I grab a little crystal and scoop up a little of that sludge on the bottom, because that'll give me both terps and THC?
So with those, I did separate the terps and the diamonds, and then I packaged the ratio back to it. So it's basically like 2 2/4 or something, or 2 1/4 grams diamonds, and then like, you know, almost a gram's worth of terpenes drizzled on top. Those terps obviously get absorbed back up into the diamonds. That's why it's like almost already sort of pre-mixed, but yeah, they are heavier, so they will sink down to the bottom when they're not crashing out. Normally the terps actually rise to the top, but you trying to focus it in.
Yeah, I fucked up the focus by making it focus up close, and now it's stuck in it close.
I mean, I'd love to do that, but I don't even have any cover milk for myself.
Well, I appreciate you hooking us up, man, because we've been smoking on it ever since we got it. So thank you so much.
Well, cheers, dude. And I will say, I guess I don't really have that extensive of experience with the rosin side of things in terms of like the terp layers and stuff. Because I mean, sometimes for me, it's 50-50. You know what I mean? So that might make a huge difference if you're.
So the jar I have right now of rosin from Chiba Hawk, that she's the one she's talking about. I haven't whipped mine yet. It's starting to turn. It's starting to turn. It was a little bit more clear yesterday. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's getting a little bit more opaque kind of tan color. So once I can smell it a little bit, but once I stir this up, it's gonna really because
that's so crazy considering how like clear it was yesterday. That's so crazy, the difference today.
So he showed us like the different versions, and like he showed me one that was whipped, and then he showed me this one that wasn't, and it was stacked. So and there is a difference.
Well, see, I even got the one that was already whipped, and I still whipped it a little bit more today, and that still felt like it kind of.
That one's not like crazy punch you in the face terps on that one. The one, what I like about that at least I did is I like the high off of it. It's got a great high. So that's what I really enjoyed. And I actually found a bag seed of theirs, and I'm growing that out right now. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that.
Oh yeah.
Is this the unlabeled container from him? The sugar cone?
No, it's got a label on it.
Say that. I've got one and it doesn't say what strain it is. And I can't remember.
Oh, you fix it.
Bakes was the only one that we got didn't have a label on it.
Which one didn't have a label?
I put a label on it. It said Mac 1.
Well, it said Mac 1. I mean, it didn't have like the
That's
handwritten autograph,
blue page tape, and a Sharpie of the strain is a signature move right there. And it's,
I'm glad I got it. We'll
low use. I can get about 1 million fucking stickers out of a roll. So
he's got the extra wide roll too.
Yep. I'll make sure I keep one.
Big
for
fan
sure.
of blue.
It's only the second run of it, so I got to keep.
He told me it was called Spice Bomb or something like that. Is what this train is
That's
called.
what Dan gave us. Dan gave us Spice Bomb.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're looking for a different one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Which one?
Might be
from
No, they're
Dan,
looking
though?
for Chibas.
Oh, Chiba. Oh yeah, that one was called.
Oh, the one I had.
That's sugar cone.
Yeah.
Sugar cone.
What did you get? You got sugar cone too, though, Tara, right?
I got something different that they're pheno hunting.
Oh.
What's that one called?
I don't know. I can't read it.
Oh.
So it kind of looks like an R and a W, and I don't know what the rest is. So I texted him, and he probably messaged me back, but I'm doing the show, so I can't check. So, super great guys. Gosh, I love Chiba Hawk. Great. They do a great job.
He took his time. He really did, explaining everything. I really appreciated it.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. I really like going and seeing him. I hadn't seen him since, it's been about 6-8 months since I seen him. It might have even been Hash Bash last year when I saw him.
He treated you still like you had seen him just yesterday.
Oh, he's really super kind. I'm really lucky to have some of the people that I do in my life that treat me that way. And you guys were so good to us this weekend and gifted us so many good things. I thank you, Emily, for the cookies and Blue Kiss, and for Goli, goodness sake, she treated us so well, and baked and Becca, goodness. the mac and the pre-rolls that Becca and Red gave us, and we got RSO.
I like the Fergoli dab bar.
We got some seeds from
I like the
It was good.
Yeah, I like the private stash spot that Fergoli had was fucking awesome.
It was nice.
Shout out
Casa
to
de
Fergoli.
Groli.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered I never took that bag off the smoke detector. Oops.
Well,
I'm sure that's not the only one, man.
some
I'm sure
guest
it's
is
not
gonna
the
go
only
in there and be
They were
like,
all over in the hallway.
"What the fuck goes on in this hotel?"
You know, though, the beds had not been touched. The towels, you know, at least the shower towels had not been touched. Like, we barely used that room, so you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice to like get away from the crowd and like
So awesome and the noise.
sit down.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
Appreciated it greatly.
for real. Thank you.
I mean, it worked out great. It was very convenient, and it was, you know, I think everyone got to take advantage of it. So,
We did. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a
well,
great
thank you
time.
guys, man. It was a fun time. It really was. And I actually just got a DM 7 minutes ago on Instagram. I came to see you today. Where were you?
Oh man.
Uh,
I
Sorry.
remember he was
Oh,
packing up the tables, and there's literally nothing but a stand of cookies left on the ground standing next to us. He's just like, "Free cookies." We're just like, "All right, sweet." But yeah, that was a good time. We were able to get out of there easy.
Yeah.
That
Actually,
was
so
nice.
I always get, oh no, not always. I sometimes get very lucky with things like that. And I asked the security, like, first of all, I think we got put in the mirrored spot or something. I don't know. That's a whole different story. But anyways, we're right next to one of the exit doors. And then where the exit doors is just like the back parking lot. It's kind of like where everyone comes in, and it's where the vendors load in and all this stuff. But it's not where you can really park. You can't even really drive through there. There's barricades and whatnot. Well, I asked the security guy, I'm like, hey, like, you know, can I just like walk my stuff out this back, you know? He's like, yeah. He's like, we're not going to be able to park there. I'm like, all right, well, you know, can I like pull my car up to the barricades and, you know, park there? He's like, yeah, just let the security guy know. So I go over to the security guy working outside in the parking lot and, you know, watching the barricades and everything. I'm like, hey, I'm, you know, going to grab my car. We're going to, you know, pack up, get out of here. He's like, okay. So I pull over, and it's like kind of a one way, you know, and there's not enough room to turn around or anything. So I basically just start backing up towards him, right? Like towards the barricades. And I'm looking behind me, and all of a sudden he moves the barricade out of the way. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just keep going, you know? And I backed it up right to that door. And we walked all of my equipment, maybe 25 feet to my car, and was able to just get out directly from there. It was pretty awesome.
that is badass. That was cool to have it so close to that door too, because that breeze that was coming through and people opened it, I was like, that is a godsend, dude.
I will say I didn't get to choose that spot. That was, you know, an assigned spot. There's, you know, sometimes it's off. I will say oftentimes at events it's first come first serve. This is one of those events like similar to the you know, Cannabis Cups, where it's like, no, this is your spot. This is a number whatever. That's where you go. You know. We're not going to start changing this up and start pissing people off and everything. That being said, when I wasn't there, one of the, I don't know who actually, someone that worked there came up to Baked and was like, hey, like, you guys are in the wrong spot. He's like,
bro, this is day one, 30 minutes in. He's like, you know, he had been working, so it's like I got there, so it's relief for him to go up to the hotel room, and then boom, here comes a guy. He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" I was like, "Oh, we're for Groli. We're for Groli."
You don't gotta say the whole thing.
Yeah, but it was just a whole ordeal.
No, I just mean the full name. You can tell the full story.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna say. Yeah, so he wanted to know his real name. I don't even know it at this point because I know mostly by. I mean, he had told me once before, but my brain attaches you to Fergroli. You're Fergroli.
I'll say him.
So I'm like, oh fuck, dude, it doesn't have like the fucking vendor name on there. Are you serious? I said, well, you're gonna have to wait. Let me see if I can call him or something. He just left. He'll be back. And guy's like, oh, and he's not leaving. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm ringing you. Fine, he answers and he's like, you know, he tells his name. Like,
he's following me on Instagram though.
Yeah,
He's talking about-
Instagram.
yeah, because we don't even have each other's phone numbers.
At this point, we don't even have the phone numbers. So, yeah, and he picks up though. I'm like, "What's your name?" I tell him the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to be over there, supposedly." But the guy who was with him was a different vendor, and he's like, "Do you just want that table then?" And the guy luckily was like, "Oh yeah, that'll do."
Which, yeah, to be fair, if I got offered that one and if I wasn't already set up, I probably would have taken that one because it was right next to the entrance door, you know? So you're basically just getting everybody that's walking in the first thing, you know, and that is often where I'll choose just because it's, you know, very convenient. If, you know, I could choose a spot, but yeah, we kind of got put on the other side. And so, yeah, I don't know if it was the first guy that got it mirrored or the guy that came to you, or you know, someone got it mirrored or whatever. I don't know, but it all worked out for everybody. They were happy, we were happy, and seems to happen every time.
And that was the thing. He comes up, you know, here's his paper. He comes up and he does one of these. I see on it. He's right next to me. I'm tall. I can see what I want. So, you know, I look, and it's a diagram of tables. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he does one of these. You know, spins it a couple times or so, and you're just like, and he's like, yeah, oh, yep, I see. And you're just like, you don't know, you just spun that 7 times. You're not sure what's up and down. I didn't even get a chance to look. So I was just glad that the other guy was cool with the table next to the door that was empty.
Yeah, I have a feeling that.
I mean, we would have moved if we had to. It wasn't a big deal, but it was just funny because it was just like, all right, here we go.
You guys got the better spot. That I think. Right at the door was a shit show, man, and people were back to back like this.
Everybody gets all jammed up right there. I really
I just a little PSA like, don't stand in the doorways and chit chat at the Hash Bash Cup. That was the number one thing that stopped everything. I noticed. I was just like, these doors are just so too small and there's too many people in and out. But
I heard a lot of people like saying it as they were walking by people in the doorways, like, hey, not a good idea standing in the doorway, you know, that kind of thing. But
yeah, but everyone's chill and high, so it's
I think one other thing that could help with that though is like direct the traffic, make certain ones a one-way walk through, start at one side, walk out. If you got to go back through, start over. Behind you guys, there was so much traffic just right behind us stuck. It was just a standstill for the most part because people were trying to go both ways.
I mean, I hate to say it. I don't think I think the best solution is to reduce the number of vendors in that room. That's really all it is.
Probably. Yeah.
Or spread the vendors out throughout the facility a little bit more, you know, but like you're so crammed in there because the vendors are so crammed in there, you know, and there's so many people. It's just like, you know, not ideal, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little big for
I agree with that. It's like claustrophobic a little bit at times with so many people. And one last thing I'd like to bring up: if you're a vendor, you don't have to bring a 2,000 watt speaker to blast through the side of the room. It's not really needed. You're in a room. It's kind of ridiculous to do something like that. Luckily,
to their credit, they improved it because it started really loud on Friday, and then they dialed it down. But there was some times where the guy wouldn't. I mean, it's not like he can tell everyone, but they would be fiddling with a cord, just like a movie cliche, and it would just go or something, you know, like it would do that static shit with a 3.5 jack or something, and everyone would just be like, "Oh," because you know. But they got it down. I thought enough, but I don't know. I'd love to be in charge of a volume once. That'd be cool.
Just go up there and rip the cord out of the wall. No.
I mean, I just turn it down. We can have music, but like you should be able to talk to the customers. Customers talk to the people, ask questions. We're leaning in a lot of the times. You know, and it's like, I can't tell you how many times I said, "What was that?"
I'm such an old man too. Like I have such bad hearing. Oh my god. And I don't have a problem being loud. I have a problem hearing quiet voices when there's a speaker blasting in my ear. You know, and there was never a consistent volume too. That it did change throughout the weekend, so that was a little interesting. Some, you know, artistic, creative direction there, maybe taken with some some liberties that shouldn't have been taken. But hey, you know, everyone's having fun. But
A
yeah,
lot of cool glass. I noticed.
say again.
A lot more glass this year.
Oh yeah,
The all glass section, that was awesome.
There was a glass table the first day
Room.
we were there in
Mhm.
right near us.
Yeah, right in the
Oh, that's
corner.
cool.
They weren't there on Saturday, but they were there the first day.
And they were
so-
only there for like 2/3 of the day on Friday too. It was interesting. So all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're just gone. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of the like old man, you guys are such old men. I want to include Baked in this too, because you guys' fashion now. I see his blood over
I knew you
Baked.
couldn't get over this.
No, I show up in Baked is sporting his trusty, happy to have,
I
you
got
know,
a
little extra
fanny
pouch.
pack.
Yeah, there
It's
you
a
go.
fanny pack. It was nice. Fergoli provided me a nice what was it, dime bag. I think they're called.
Yeah,
fanny
Diamondbacks.
packs.
Let me.
Good to have a nice sack. for
I
yourself.
told you about this, but I didn't show it to you. The padded.
Oh,
bong
the
one.
padded. Oh, that's
Yeah.
huge too. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
could fit. Yeah.
And it's like, and the
I
padding
like that.
comes
Bigger than a
out.
fanny pack.
The padding comes out. It's a zipper, but it's, you know, it's really
Well,
only.
here's
like
the
width of
thing.
my
Here's the
arm
thing,
inside,
Russ.
You know.
You can get a fanny pack from that company that matches that fabric.
Why would
So
you
your
and a
do that?
backpack can
backpack.
match your backpack.
I don't have a
Therefore-
need for a fanny pack.
You don't because you're not willing to give it a try. I was like
You do. You just don't know you do.
moments, days ago, and then I was enlightened how useful it is and comfortable.
He's
It's
a
just
No.
right there. Boom. It's like a kangaroo. Boom. It
Yeah,
gets
I
you
don't want
whatever
that.
you
I don't
want.
have the need to be a kangaroo. I don't have that need.
You don't know
Then you
that.
need to post
I
that.
do know that.
It's
I've lived
extra
all these
pockets.
years.
I
I've
can
lived
still
all
use my
these
other
years without it.
pockets. I can
I've-
put stuff in it. It's pretty darn useful.
Would you believe I have pockets now that I don't even have full? It's crazy.
All right. There's a.
Well,
secret
you're at home.
compartment
You're
in
not
here.
traveling.
Hey, I gotta answer Robert Bendula in chat real
No.
fast, guys, because
Yeah.
I wanted to wait till we get off this topic real fast, but I don't want him to think I'm ignoring him right now because I'm not. It's anything going on that weekend. I just was waiting for the topic of the cannabis cup to end real fast to get onto a different cup event. But there are a couple of events happening throughout Michigan. The craft affair is coming back on the 16th in Lansing, and I assume that they're going to happen, weekly from there on out. We haven't heard that they're not going to happen. That's in Lansing at the Fledge. And then that's the Third Eye News Craft Affair. So Third Eye News Craft Affair on Instagram. You can get all the info. We post to our story whenever we're going to be doing one of those ones. Be posting about it this week. And then Gems and Genetics is at the end of the month on the 29th. That's in Muskegon. There is a address posted up on the Gems and Genetics. I don't have any of my stuff pulled up right now. I don't have
Bummed to miss that
YouTube
one.
or anything pulled up.
That one was 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. I got that written down.
12 days. Yep. It has an address on the Instagram site as well.
I think it's Muskegon, but I'm not sure.
It's Muskegon.
Yeah, it's Muskegon.
Okay.
It's I put the address in my phone earlier. I don't know.
It's coming up fast.
And then
Here.
and yeah, Gems and Genetics, and then there's going to be another Gems and Genetics back at Sarnes Resort in June, which we'll see. I don't know if we're going to have product for that
Ooh,
one.
it'll be the week of my birthday.
Craft fairs. So
Yeah, that's also the same weekend as the Michigan Glass Project. I think there's something else going on that weekend too. Unfortunately I won't be able to make it that weekend to I don't think any events, but I think June 9th through 11th or something is that weekend rather.
Yeah.
June, yeah,
9th through 11th.
9th through 11th maybe, or something to 14th. Maybe that was last year. Yeah, maybe it's the 9th through the 11th. We're going to well, at the end of the month. So we got a lot going on that month. So we'll figure all that out. We're not sure if we're gonna be able to make that one because then we gotta get the dog taken care of, and so we have to get the dog taken care of twice because we gotta get him taken care of at the end of the month. So.
You took care of someone else's dog this weekend too. You want to tell them about that? You want to talk about that? Just about like the use of potential uses.
RSO.
Oh, I was like, I don't.
Not like my dog, like an actual dog.
Yeah, definitely shout out to everybody should check out Zilla's Pets online because they do pet CBD, dog treats, and stuff. Really, really cool looking products. They came through and sourced some RSO for their pup, and we give our RSO to DOG. We give it to him in very, very small quantities. Just I should probably start upping the dose. I titrate him up a little bit more here and there, but I should probably go up a little further. We reduce it down with MCT oil, so it's a pretty thin liquid, and then it's relatively low dose. And then we just give him a couple drops in his food, and then yeah, we've been doing that. But the RSO, I think it helps him. Like he's
sorry.
Holy moly!
Drums.
I like
I'm
it.
also in top
What
chat.
specific one?
That should have been the drum roll.
I don't
Way
know.
better drum roll for the package poll. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna call it a package poll. Yep, that's what it was.
The winner.
Sorry to interrupt. I saw it was 10 and Spartan was freaking out.
And I've heard veterinarians say not to use cannabis on their pets, but I've also heard doctors say not to use cannabis on our humans. And you know, I don't know if it is good or bad on either pets or humans. You know, I know that it does benefit humans, and I tell you what, it seems to benefit DOG, and at least he hasn't had any adverse reactions in the last few years that I've been giving him CBD isolate for like 6 years or something like that. I've been giving him CBD isolate since like 2016, 2015, something like that, and maybe even longer. And that's like all the time with his food. And then we started making some last year for our own because it was just getting stupid expensive to source that stuff from what we were getting, and then started sourcing some good CBD, not gas station CBD or anything like that. We found some good tested, came with COA, got him on that, and then we recently started giving him the RSO within I don't know, the last couple of months. He's got a really bad tumor in his mouth, and it's really affecting all of his teeth, and he's really too old for surgery at this point. He can hardly breathe, and there's a lot going on. He's 14 years old now. He's I don't know his birthday, but the veterinarian said call it around the 1st of April. Nobody really knew. So he's got a ish beginning of April, so we call it April 1st, April 2nd. So happy birthday, DOG. He got a chance to lay out in the sunshine all day and do his thing. But yeah, so he's got all kinds of his little things going on in his old age. So we give him RSO, and it seems to keep him calm, and he doesn't just sleep all day. He goes on, he wanders around, but he makes it up the stairs, makes it down the stairs. He knock on wood, he's still doing it. He's doesn't get up in the bed on his own or anything like that, but he's very cautious on it. It seems like a stoner. Like a stoner is really cautious and like kind of what they do sometimes, and sometimes very accidental. And
This is very apparent this weekend at the Hash Bash. Everyone was like, it was just a mob of people like that. Like I was plowing through the crowd trying to not run anybody over, like trying to run and go grab something real quick, and I'm just like, ah.
He almost is like, it's like he knows what he's doing, So I'm just gonna keeping him on a little bit of a regimen. And my assumption, my hope was that it would reduce the size of his tumors. He's got one that's about the size of a tennis ball or a softball in his ribs, and he's just loaded up. It's like if we go remove one, where do we stop? Because he's got that. And that one's probably, honestly, that is probably going to have to remove jaw. We think that that's like in his mouth and his teeth. And he's so old right now that he probably wouldn't survive that type of a surgery. So we're just live out the rest of his golden years. He eats every day. He's just a little irritated by it. He had an infection. We got him seen by the vet, and the vet kind of gave us some antibiotics and the infection went away, and it just kind of has just been there, you know. So the RSO, you know, for puppy health, doggy health. I don't know at what point you would want to give your pets RSO or even CBD for that matter. I would probably let them get through adolescence just like a human. But from the information that I've gotten, dogs and cats and other animals have CBD receptor. CBD receptors. Is that what?
Cannabinoid receptors.
Cannabinoid receptors. CB1, CB2. Yeah, there we go. CB1.
That's
CB2.
another one. Potato. Is it cannabinoid or cannabinoid?
I think that's potato.
Right. Tomato.
Cannabinoid. I say both. Honestly.
I say both too.
I know. I get tripped up on my own versions of it.
Like
you know?
what I'm talking about sometimes, or like who I'm talking to, but I will say both. I'll probably even switch it up because
like
I don't even remember which one I was saying.
System.
And
Cannabinoid, yeah, it's endocannab. Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth.
Yeah,
too.
you just.
I don't know which I say. So the amount of cannabinoids, their receptors are twice as many as whatever we have. So it's like twice as potent. You know, the dose that is a human. You know, think of a 10 milligram dose. It's more like a 20 milligram dose given it to a dog. And then also the same other factors come into play with size, weight, and all of that stuff. So if you're talking a little Yorkie that's like 5 pounds, you know, that thing should already have like probably a half of a gram at most, you know, is really going to be like a 1 gram, which is really like a fucking, you know, 10 gram, you know. So it's, you know, you kind of want to do the math with the weight and then we probably do the math with the receptors first and then do the math with the weight. I don't know. There's probably a right way to do it. Don't ask me because I'm just spitballing and getting stoned. So
I'll try to help from the NIH. There's less than 60 papers in PubMed on marijuana in dogs, and they're almost all on toxic effects. So it's really not like about, you know, maybe what we're looking for in terms of health benefits, right?
I don't know if it helps with things like anxiety with dogs. You know, people are always like, oh, like my dog hates lightning. Will CBD help? I really don't know. It may help. It may make it worse. It may make it more susceptible, just like people. You know what I mean?
So dogs,
works, you know.
This says dogs are reported to have a higher number of cannabinoid, if I'm reading it phonetically, receptors in the brain compared with humans, and it has been suggested that they may be more susceptible to the toxic effects than are humans. Again, suggested that they may be more susceptible, and again, this is focused on the toxicity in dogs. So, you know, those two things might lead down that road of that study. It's kind of the way.
So cut your dose because of the additional receptors, and then cut the dose again because it's a smaller mammal. And then you should be able to figure out a proper dose with your animal. You know, I wouldn't go with the same dose that you as yourself is used to.
No,
you know, as your range. Like go with like your Aunt Linda's dose that doesn't consume cannabis and gets, you know, overblown with a 4 milligram dose. You know what I mean?
This is interesting.
And use that as your weight judgment. Well, so according to Dr. Ethan Riso, 2.5 milligrams, 2.5. I think I got that out of Cannabis Pharmacy. It might not solely be Ethan Russo. Cannabis Pharmacy book. I think 2.5 milligrams is human like threshold of an average body weight of, I think, like 150 pounds or 160 pound human. 2.5 milligram threshold of when the effects begin to be, you know, subjectively noticed, right? You start to feel it. You know, it's not to say that it's not active or doing anything in a smaller dose, because it very well may. But at the dose where you start to going, oh shit, I'm getting a little high, that's 2.5 milligrams if you don't have a tolerance.
Well, must be a nice cheap date.
Here's a quarter gummy for you.
Yeah.
Also, like, we do only give it to him for quality of life. You know, we don't recommend it like for just any dog. you know, if there's an issue, it may help. Like it does help some people. But
Hey, would you recommend it though for a type of like cancer prevention? Like bigger breeds are known to get specific type of cancers more often. Would you say to start giving it for any type of cancer prevention?
Possibly. I have a feeling that a lot of, you know, the reason that he's still around has to do with him getting CBD, at least CBD oil over the last, you know, 5-6 years. Like he does have tumors. And you know, a few years ago we got a handful of tumors removed. God, we had like 4 or 5 tumors removed from him a few years ago. We think that's where the sudden outbreak of more tumors came from. But we didn't get any of them biopsied, but that was a couple years ago. Still around. He's, you know,
slower.
a little bit slower.
Can I just
I mean,
interject real quick here? The last 2 sentences of this this study or whatever from NIH about what you're talking about right now. There it says there are differences in the CB2 receptors and in the metabolism of cannabinoids in dogs compared with humans, and veterinary medical researchers should ensure that they become involved in parallel research on the potential value of marijuana for treatment of animal diseases. This last sentence is what really caught my eye. Marijuana cookies may very well find a place in the veterinarian's arsenal for treatment of epilepsy and the side effects of cancer.
Hey, I like it.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Endo now, and she's a Great Dane Doberman cross. And I'm like, I was considering, because I give her a tablespoon of coconut oil every day. So I was considering dosing, you know, giving her infused coconut oil, if that would be helpful to just do that prevention or any type of like that extra benefit that could help her in any way. But I don't want to like make her sick, but I also don't know if that would be beneficial or not. I mean, I'm already doing the coconut oil, so.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned maybe not decarbing the RSO. I think like such a small amount, like maybe 1 milligram or less.
You can do undecarb. You will get a lot of air bubbles in your RSO. It'll look really weird on you. That's just going to be a product. There's CO2 left.
I don't think for animals that matters though. Dogs, it doesn't. Even decarb is going to affect them.
Well, it's going to decarb over time.
It would
also,
just
regardless.
be less, you know, so that they can just get the cannabinoids in their system.
Yeah, I would say THCA. THCA would be.
Don't they process it the same way as the THC?
Yeah, for the dogs, I think they do. Because my dog gets high as fuck.
I was gonna say, Frosty got ripped today when we did all the dabs. So.
Well, that'd be decarb because we've already smoked it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Way decarb.
THCA. You shouldn't get high off of it if you eat it. Sometimes,
but for an animal, like a canine's endocannabinoid system, how they process it.
They shouldn't. Again, like, I don't know.
There are still a lot of the same effects that for THCA and THC. I don't know exactly, but I know that people are still getting some of those really great.
It's gonna decarb anyways. Like you, so it just takes time. It's gonna decarb, whether you like it or not. If you're sitting at room temperature, I mean, if you're sitting in the freezer, it might not decarb. You got to be really diligent about where you keep your meds, I guess. But if it's flour or anything like that, I don't know, man. THCA with dogs, I would just titrate them up so they start to, you know, do the wobble. That's kind of what I do with the OG. Like I know what he looks like when he's high, right? I know where he's at. He's uncomfortable. You know, if your dog's ever gotten into your stash, your gummies or anything like that, you know where they're at when they're high. They kind of look like they're having a seizure. Okay. They just sit there. They can't really move. Their dexterity just disappears. You know, that might be with a 10 milligram, you know, gummy or something. And I know some people's dogs that have eaten a half pan of cookies, whole pan of cookies with the sugar, with the chocolates. Yeah, you know, and the dogs are fine.
I can feel that way when I'm high. If I'm really, really high from edibles or something, I get dizzy like that. And I don't think I'm moving, but like, I don't know.
So we all know where the point is. So like I would titrate. And like I said, like we reduce our RSO down with MCT oil so that it's, you know, a much smaller dose. And then we kind of go from there and then work our way back up the ladder. Just it's a lot easier than starting with like a glob and then like trying to like guess, you know, what type of a small dose it is. And then I mean, it also, you could add something like salmon oil or something too, and give yourself a little cut, make it a nice little oil for your dog. If you wanted to add some other type of oil to it, that way you'd be able to.
They don't process CBD like THC though, do they? So if I had a hemp plant, I could do that for them and just do a daily dose.
Yeah. If you had a hemp plant, put it down and turn it into RSO, and then you'd have yourself some probably high CBD or high THC 1-to-1 maybe. I think that your best bet with a dog, we give him CBD with his RSO. So I think, you know, just like with people, I think just give them a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 CBD to THC is probably your best bet.
She's got that green room, so that should be a lot of CBD there.
Yeah, dude, take a couple branches of that, make a little tincture out of it, and make a little RSO out of that tincture. And yeah, I mean, for your dog and stuff, I wouldn't even filter it. Give that full plant medicine, you know?
Okay.
I would get it tested, like, just in case, not because I don't trust that plant, but like I would recommend to test if you have any hemp plant.
I would test it once it's in the RSO form, because then I could dilute it accordingly.
Yeah,
just make sure there's no THC. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just in case.
It's all math from there. Once you got the percentage of the crude oil, you know, it's all math to reduce it down. Yeah, I know.
You got right over there.
There. Beard
What's
on.
going on?
Is that what happened?
Tara's got a
freaking fire going over there or something.
Oh shit!
She's over there catching her banger on fire.
Someone got it too hot.
Way too hot. Trying to burn lights.
How big is that torch, girl?
She ain't running out anytime soon.
She's got it hooked up to the propane tank outside.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to just disclaimer that entire conversation with we don't condone or recommend giving cannabis to your pets, but you know, like I said, we give it to ours for end of life treatment. So I don't want anybody to come after us like, you know, something happened to your pets, because I would feel incredibly bad. I don't want anything to happen to anybody's pets. I love our pets.
I appreciate you talking about it though, because like it's something I've considered, even just the CBD though for him, because she's a big dog. I know that, you know, eventually it's going to come to that end stage for her. She's already 2.5. I'm lucky if she'll make it to 10, and I'd love her to last longer. So if I could start early by helping her with boosting anything in her to make her healthier or stronger, or I know cannabis helps me every day, you know, what can it do for her is where I'm at.
It's so helpful to us, you know, with pain and even to like just even, I'm just going to say it anecdotally, you know, like with like tumor treatment and cancer help and stuff like that. I mean, dogs and cats, they get the same deal, you know, they get it just the same, if not even more, because they're laying on the you know, the carpet and laying on the grass that's sprayed with chemicals and shit. You know what I mean? Like they're probably even more exposed to carcinogens than we are. You know, I was a cigarette smoker for so many years in this house and didn't intentionally blow it in his face or anything, but he was exposed to secondhand smoke. He's got an old man smoker's cough now, and it's fucking rough, dude. I feel bad, you know, but it made me recognize to not, you know, be a cigarette smoker in the house, you know, like that, like I used to be. He's definitely I look at him like our relationship with Diogi, my dog. He's been like this weird like version of a like a what is it, like a guardian angel slash responsibility like builder in like the
almost like a little brother.
Yeah, like a little brother. It's very like I don't want to compare it to a child, because I know child raising, I'll get a lot of flack on that one, because you know I know there's a lot that goes into that. But he's made it so that like I've had to make a lot of sacrifices, you know what I mean? In a lot of like formative years, like my mid to late 20s. He's been around for almost, he's 14 years old. I've had him for 13 and a half years. I got him when he was like 6 months old. Him being, you know, I'll say vicious, you know, because we had to get him registered vicious in the city that we lived in because he bit another dog and we had to go through the whole cycle. Almost had to go to court with the whole thing. Almost had to put him to sleep. It was very traumatic for all of us. But I haven't been able to like socialize him properly, you know, the way he should have been. And so for many, many years, I didn't have people over my house. You know, there was times where like, or he'd have to like get put in the bedroom. He wouldn't be able to just like hang out with people. The only people that can actually care for him have been my parents. So I've kind of been under, you know, lock and key, like mom and daddy watch, you know, some for like into my adult life. You know what I mean? We can't just like take off and go to like Colorado or go to California or just like fly over. We can't just do that. My family goes on vacation. They want us to join along. We actually can't do that. You know what I mean? Like there's very limited, like I haven't been able to go on like vacation with my family in almost 15 years. You know, we used to go overseas. We, you know, used to vacation all the time. It's been kind of wild, you know, but at the same time, I don't know if I change any of that. You know, I think that there's been a responsibility mechanism because without him, I think I would have been a lot more reckless. When I did get him, I was in my mid-20s, and it was during a time where I was being very reckless. Not just with myself, but like in a lot of ways, you know, where I was hanging out, other people I was with, you know, you know, just behavior in general, a lot of stuff that I do regret. So I think that him, you know, I regret the life I was before him more than after him. You know, I think that he kept me into a mode where I just kind of had to be around, and it made it so that like the things that I had to do, like, you know, take care of weed plants and, you know, build gardens and stuff like that were kind of things at home. And it's kind of like been able to build my life. And I have had jobs where like I was away from him all fucking day, like 13 hours a day. And I would come home and I would get into this point where like it almost in a way, it kind of like helped me force myself to being a little bit more independent with being self-employed and things. Because when I got out of the service industry, I was like, wow, I'm not away from this dog anymore. I'm actually home with him. I can like spend my time here with him. I'm making my money here. Like, you know, it was very different. It made me really appreciate like the homestead life. And at this point, I'm going to shout out Rosemary's Oasis that's at the screen there, because it's really a big value thing that, you know, Becca and I share now is, you know, the family bond at home. So like I'm trying to do everything that I can to continue to work from home so that, you know, now in the future, not only was I able to like be around my dog for the last few years, but, you know, now hopefully I will be able to, you know, be home, and Becca will also be able to be home when we have children and be able to raise them without, you know, being gone half the day, you know, just being around. You know, not a lot of families get that opportunity. A lot of people work, you know, everybody works. So it's a very, you know, good opportunity that we have to kind of build a life that way. So I want to try to bust ass to do this, you know, as much as we can. I was out there. We moved, you know, whatever, 25, 30 yards of wood chips in the last fucking mulch. That's all gone. It's out of the driveway.
Nice, you got it all cleared out.
All cleared out. I mean, we're just trying to learn how to go. You know, we're trying to
Hooray.
Hip hip hooray, man! Big
we need
time.
more. We need more.
Hey,
More, man, dude. I know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I got a pile of wood that needs chipping.
But I'd rather be doing that home. I would much rather be doing that at home. It's a workout, you know, than like sitting in an office for 8 hours and then going to the gym because I didn't get any exercise, and that's more time out of my day that I again could be with my family and stuff like that. Or, you know, and because I'm so busy right now, I don't get a chance. You know, it's ironic too, because then, you know, also being self-employed, be like, oh, well, you should be able to like pick any time to go, you know, do anything else, vacation or all that stuff. And it's like, not really. Most of our vacations are based around, are we going to be able to make money or not doing it? So our vacations are like festivals where we can like go sell fucking t-shirts and tapestries and pendants and shit, you know what I mean? And try to make our money back and try to make a few bucks on the side and get home with a little something. Or, you know, like, you know, we're lucky to be able to catch some family dinners or family outings and things like that. There are definitely sacrifices. I think DOG taught me to be able to maintain and handle a lot of that just by having to do it the last 15 years. You know, it's my friends, but hey, we're going to go do this. You know, I can't go. My buddy lives in Boston. You know, I've been wanting to go out and visit him for years and years and years. And a lot of it has to do with, you know, other disciplines that I just, you know, time management and shit like that I need to work on. But a lot of it also has to do with, you know, when I'm able to take off and go get out of town, it's, are we going to be able to make money? You know what I mean? And we just haven't really had a lot of opportunities to go on an actual vacation. So
somebody mark this so that in like 5 to 10 years, we can come back and ask Red and Becca about how they feel now that they've got, you know, 2-3 kids or whatever, right? And how it's changed versus one dog, and now they've got probably 50 chickens, a couple goats, you know, like a whole house full of children. And
I'm right there with you, dude. Yeah.
They're breeding species of chickens.
I hope they have some goats.
I like being busy as fuck, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I can't stand not being like.
I think it's a genetic thing because I got that from my dad, dude. Like he can't sit still, man. He just unless he just ate a big meal, then he's passing out. But you know,
dude, my mom is always doing something. My mom's always thinking up businesses and stuff. My mom was always out doing shit like Pampered Chef or like doing craft fairs, and I got dragged to some of it, but like who knows how much more of it that she did than I was exposed to. But like a lot of it, I think that's where that comes from. But I used to love video games, and I'm always like, I always just want to like hook up. I still have like all my own Nintendo 64 and shit because when I just want to binge out on some fucking Nintendo 64 one day, I just never end up finding that kind of time, you know. So it's
hard.
One of those days we'll figure it out. But that's like the type of relaxation that I like to have, you know, just kind of hanging around the house and bullshit. We listen to records and we'll do that kind of stuff. And like creating a big garden that feeds us, that might make us money, you know, it's going to do all of the things. It's also like the therapy, right? It's a huge therapy. And I don't know how many people get therapy out of their garden, but it's one of the primary reasons that I do it.
Me too.
It's very much it's very much relieving of anxiety. You know, it's anti-anxiety.
If you've ever worked with people, you know, that's my least favorite thing to do. No offense to anybody, but like,
oh, fine, dude. I guess next time I'll let you run the booth by yourself. All right.
No, honestly, that way, that environment wasn't good. I'm talking my retail days and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Just let me stock the shelf. But I feel like working with plants is the opposite. It's like
totally.
a relief from something like that, where it's just like, plant's not gonna bitch at you. Why aren't you pruning me?
That's
it. Water.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
might, like by the time you get to harvest, you might realize, but it's really just user error, grower error, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not your fault, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's so, and it's very rewarding. You know, so
you
everything you do, it's that. Yep.
And you know that one of my favorite moments of the whole time there was when we were standing there and after some customers had bought some viewers of the show, fans of the show, they bought some, I think it was Cobra milk and maybe some flour too.
For really just the last Mr. Lime.
Yeah, for Girly just come back down. And so they turned to talk to Girly for a minute. And the Bake came up to me. He's like, hey, now you get for Girly's attention. So I tapped him on the shoulder. Bake goes, pardon me, sir. If you're not going to buy anything, could you please get out of the way from my booth?
He was holding up the corner. He was creating a complete traffic block. And I couldn't have that.
Missed the whole booth.
I'm telling you, next time you're running the dab rig at one of these 10 by 10.
Yeah, dude, that I can't wait.
And you're gonna laugh at how much that holds up the line.
yeah. I'm like, yo, come on now, keep it moving. Dab and go. We got a dab and go station. This is a dab and go.
No dilly dallying, no hanging out.
You buy some, here you go.
Hey, dab and go.
And I don't ever mean to be rude to anybody if I'm not paying 100% of attention to you, but we end up getting really busy at these events sometimes, and my attention does, attend everybody sometimes. So, to the Groskis and people who do come up and are raring for conversation, I'm all about conversation, but at the same time, I am also tending other matters at the same time. So
that's how I met you guys, was at Gems and Genetics when you guys were vending. And that was one of the things that just really stuck out, because I came over a few times to your booth, and every time I came back, once you guys got kind of a bit more busy, I would back off, let you do your thing. But you remembered me when I came back, and that really stuck out. All the questions I had, it wasn't starting fresh each time.
I have a service industry background, which a lot of time it keeps me pretty fresh with remembering faces and
shines
things like that. I would always make sure that I would always like call my regular guests by their name, or like when somebody came and I knew that I was serving them like twice and they'd come back, I recognize it. Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again, or something like that. And let them know that
you are super freaky good with names.
Well, I'm terrible with names. Once I know your name, I'm good with names. But like, I'm sometimes a super bad kid.
Facial recognition software.
Facial recognition. I will always remember your face, but I might not remember.
I'm the same way. I'm gonna remember your face, but I might not remember your name. But I'll remember your IG name.
We experienced a lot of that this weekend.
Yes, we did. Whenever I wanted to talk to Baked, I had to use his real name.
Oh
yeah, he introduced himself as his real name to my friend, and I was like, whoa, yeah. Hey.
I never know when. I'm like, I don't know.
I know his real name, but I saved
him by his real name. So when I kept calling him Bake, they're looking at me and they're like, "Who are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't know? Oh, okay, gotcha."
Yeah, once your name gets attached, once a name that I'm using for you out there, anybody.
It's usually the first
attached to your face. That's what I'm saying. The first one that I attach to your face, that's kind of it. And if it's like for Groli, it's like that's a big one.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it's like a nickname, like, oh, you came up and gave me Dank. You're a Blue Dream guy. And that's but I know your face, what your face looks like. I don't remember what you told me your name was, because I attached you as Blue Dream guy, the guy who gave me Dank Blue Dream or something,
and you don't realize it until you go to introduce somebody from to like your aunt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, this is so and so 42084, and you're like, they're like, "This is your name?"
Yeah.
You guys, I'm so bad at faces and at names. I met Old Man Hermit Hash at Winewood once, and then like a week later, I went to Red and Becca's for a cookout, and I met Porch Farmer there, and I thought it was Old Man Hermit Hash, so that's what I called him. I'm just not good at it.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I'm gonna fucking call him that.
So I have a tip that might help with that, but before I get to that, the first time I experienced something similar to this was before I even started growing, and it was like in my video gaming days, right, where like it was the first time I met someone in real life that I had been playing video games with, and hearing in my ears for years, but never had seen in real life. Had no idea what they were looking at. Dude, yeah, you're telling me, man. Turned out to be a cool dude, like real cool dude. But it definitely was risky business. But I, someone I was involved with online for years. So, it's kind of, I don't know. And I had someone else with me. So
it could have been a dark story.
Yeah. You
they're alive.
Really would have never been bored.
Yeah.
But anyways, my tip for remembering names, and this might not work for everybody. Maybe it only works for me. If I'm meeting you for the first time, I basically have to be like, okay, hey Tara, like nice to meet you, Tara, and I have to hear your name, say it back to you, and probably say it once again. Well, usually it takes me twice, or maybe once if I'm really good at it, but like twice when I'm like at these events where I'm meeting, hundreds of people. But yeah, if I say my name back to you and I'm looking at you in your eyes and I'm like putting that face to the name, you know what I mean? It reinforces it in my brain and usually helps. Outside of that, I have found nothing that has helped me.
Dude, I shook his hand and bought hash from him right there. And like, I don't know what it is. I just can't keep a name and a face. It's just like, you kind of look like maybe you are. Yeah, we'll go with it. And if you correct me, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I'm
I get that completely. Yep.
Make up a rhyme song to people's names to remember. I'll do a Tara Tara Bobera Banana Fana Fofera.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right. And then there's other one is if you say something 5 times, you're supposed to remember it. I don't know if that's psychologically true or not, but I will.
I'm sorry, I would just put the same name or it's the same rhythm to everybody. It's Spartan, Bobarton, baked, full baked, and it's like I'm not remembering. I'm just singing the same damn song. I don't get that.
I just wanted to.
I love it. That's cool. So that was one of my big things is I wanted to know everybody's names. Once I met everybody, I wanted to know everybody's names. I was like, I want to know the secret because it's all a secret,
Tara has a refusal to call anybody by their screen.
Tara, it's a secret, but your name is right there. Why didn't you hide it?
So that was the whole. Okay, so even knowing that was what I didn't want to be. Is I didn't want to be a secret. I felt like after all these years, hiding, growing, that kind of situation, I didn't want to be a secret. I wanted people to know. I wanted people to see it and to know it and educate from it kind of thing. So I didn't want to hide. So that's why I used my damn fucking name.
I like it. I like it.
You know what? Oh, well, at this point,
that's what she says it is.
That's honest though. And you've got, I don't know what you call your people who are part of that Tara Nation, but everybody who supports you, supports your grow and supports Tara, so that's kind of dope.
I appreciate that. I
believe they're called terrorists.
And I'd never.
No. Listen, NSA, we are good, patriot, citizen, tax-paying people.
Yes, we are.
You're gonna get us on a list. You're gonna get us on a list for rolling.
Can we edit that out?
Nope.
Well, we're almost good.
This weekend that actually had a slap in her wallet from like a few years ago, and I was amazed that she had that. I mean, you were with me, Emily, so I was just like,
that was so cool to see.
It was. Shout out. I didn't want to like. She's kind of.
Oh, come on,
like, shout
get her out there.
Naughty Nikki, love you, girl. So I didn't want to sound too distasteful or anything to people, but that's what she goes by on IG. So loved it. It was awesome though, and we saw so many people this weekend. So many people came out to the Diag and in the rain. The Girl Scout people. Hey guys, Girl Scout cookies were being thrown down on the corner of the Diag.
Nice.
I don't know how that would go at the higher ups if they knew that, but it was a humongous.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like legit Girl Scout, like Thin Mints and stuff?
Yeah.
Legit.
Boxes, like sealed boxes?
Yeah.
Were there children selling them?
No, it was all.
I didn't get word. Nobody brought the. These are free boxes.
All adults.
I'm disappointed.
I didn't get a single one that day.
I
was totally thinking that it was a cool mom that was like, "We're gonna cash in on this, dude. Let's go."
Yeah, they were cashing in on one way or another. How much were they selling those boxes for?
I don't know.
She said they were throwing them out for free.
I don't think she said they were throwing them down. I think she means they were selling them.
They were selling them.
Yeah.
I don't think people with munchies. And that's
yeah.
I
bet you these people weren't even affiliated.
Sure,
they just went over and bought them and
reselling them.
Yeah. I see what you're going.
Well, hey,
Tony,
talking
we're not
about Hash
affiliated.
Fish, though, real quick, Red, I wanted to let you know, I'm not sure if on the Diag if you were able to make it, but we spoke to this group called the Michigan Liberation
Project, I think.
Yeah, and the first thing that they were handing out was Narcan spray, Narcan samples, and then fentanyl strips. And they were giving a lot of information about making sure you can test, how to get help, do it safely, that kind of a thing. So I think there's somebody that I'll get you some information for. I have one of their cards because I know that's something that you're definitely pretty passionate about. So
not to be confused with Narcan samples and fentanyl strips.
No, I think that is.
No, that's
It's Narcan, and it was fentanyl testing strips.
Oh, okay. He knew what I meant.
Now we're on two lists.
We don't
Two different lists. One show.
I want to roll. Hey.
I missed a few words, but you got the gist of it. They support what you support, and they were really cool to talk to. I talked to them about the Last Prisoner Project, so that was really cool. They were pretty interested in that, and that's something that we're trying to support and get word out about. So I figured I'd share with you as well.
The Narcan was recently
released for over-the-counter sales.
Released
FDA approved.
Approved by the FDA. Something. So at the Fledge they have a box. They have a Narcan box.
Looks like a little newspaper box, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It looks like a little newspaper box. You see them outside of buildings. The ones that I've seen have been white, free. Reach in there, grab a box. You know, it save somebody's life just having one on you in your car.
Can I ask a real quick question? How long do those last? Like, is there an expiration date on them?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's an expiration date.
Also, do we know how much
it's
they're
gotta
charging?
have it on there.
I'm sure it does. I'm just curious.
You know, I think it's
go.
the thing that the FDA is allowing this and releasing this. I don't want to see a couple of things though because of this. Like, I don't want to like immediately just
usage.
Go yes. Well,
they did give us a pamphlet with like a lot of information on it. And they said that you cannot overdose from using it. Like, even if you're worried, like your friend is like gone way over and then you give them this and that's going to push them over even farther, like you can't overdose on it. So I don't think usage isn't necessarily going to be a concern if it goes up.
No, that's not my
no. It's like having a bulletproof vest on all the time, you know.
Oh, gotcha.
My concern
at a higher level because you know that as a safety net.
Gotcha.
On the newest manufactured Narcan sprays, they should last 3 years.
Okay. I was just wondering if it's something you should throw in like a med.
They should have a date on them.
Yeah.
Can you grow a tolerance to Narcan spray? Like if you do use it consistently?
Oh, Lord.
And depending on how much you take of heroin, opioids, something like of that nature, if it's of like a greater amount, sometimes that Narcan, that first nasal spray at the nose won't help. It might take 2, 3, 4 times.
Wow.
It's really kind of, if you're like a user and you have been clean for a while and you use again, sometimes it's very tricky in that situation. It depends on your usage. You might be a 12-year user and it might take.
But you can safely give them 2 or 3 in a row and not worry about overdosing on it. So you should continue to try, right?
No harm. Keep doing it as much as you can until emergency personnel can get to you.
That's cool.
If anything, that's a safety kind of measure for people to at least try to help until somebody of a higher level can get to you. But
do you wait any time in between or is it instantaneous?
Sometimes it's instantaneous, but other times, like I said, it's a few times. You got to keep doing it until
right. But are you just like open one, do it, open another, do it, or do you wait a few minutes in between to see if it kicks in?
Wait, and you need to be doing CPR and that kind of thing in between. You need to be not just like leaving them alone. You can't just shoot it up their nose and leave them alone. You got to still do CPR and all that kind of stuff.
Stimulate them to keep.
Yeah, you can't just shoot it up their nose and leave them alone. You gotta have to do.
Helpline MA, so I'm guessing Maine.org. It just says you can't develop a tolerance to naloxone.
You cannot.
You cannot. So go ahead and use it on everyone, I guess.
Wait, Are you talking about naloxone? Is that the same as Narcan?
That's I think
Yeah,
it's
naloxone is
it's a
the
drug in
medical term.
Narcan.
Yeah.
That's what they
Narcan
passed
is
out was
the, like,
naloxone, not
yeah.
Narcan. The same
So
thing.
those I'm
Hold
looking
on.
at
Hold on.
yeah, it's generic.
Naloxone is
It's generic Narcan.
opiate. That's
Yeah.
wait, naloxone.
Narc's the name brand. So like there's a company that like makes a name for it that sounds flashy. But the chemical is naloxone.
I thought naloxone was the
Naloxone.
opioid replacement for.
No, that's Suboxone. Suboxone.
Yeah, that's Suboxone.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's good to know all that.
Back to what my original thought was though, because I think that it's a great thing that the FDA is allowing it and it's no longer like restricted or considered paraphernalia or whatever is wrapped up under paraphernalia laws. I think they still need to release testing strips and not have testing strips being under paraphernalia laws. So that's another step that they still need to make for all of this shit. But I'm afraid, and I'm not jumping the gun and partying yet, that stuff's available for people to save their lives. I'm concerned that they're going to gouge it and do what they did to insulin and what they did to other life-saving medicines, EpiPen, insulin, to name a couple. I'm sure there's dozens of them, and also no longer allow them to be able to be free. Look, we were talking about them being free. What's going to happen now once they're mandated and regulated through the FDA? Now they're probably not going to be able to be free. So I'm kind of holding off on the party supplies figuratively. I guess that was a bad way to phrase this in this context. Holding off on like the balloons and streamers. Well, balloons again, I guess. Wow.
Balloons and cake or ice cream. Shit.
Hold on. In celebration, just because like we still don't know, like unless I mean those are questions that I have, are they now going to gouge these products?
I got the answer right here for you. I'm looking at goodrx.com. I definitely if you guys either are outside of insurance or maybe just don't have insurance that covers prescriptions all that well or whatever, check out goodrx.com. No sponsorships, but hey, I've heard about it a lot lately, and I'm looking at prices right now. Rite Aid after the coupon, $38. Meyer Pharmacy after the coupon, $48. That's for one box of 4 milligram naloxone, which is 2 nasal sprays. So that's 2 sprays. It's going to cost you $35 or $40, $50. Without a coupon, we're looking at $130 retail, $140 retail, something like that.
Whoa.
So in that case, you have to get your doctor to prescribe you Narcan?
No, this is over-counter pricing.
Over the counter.
So it's more.
This is if you don't have insurance and you want to go purchase it. Since it's allowed over the counter, you don't need a prescription.
Right, exactly.
But you can just clip one of these coupons from like goodrx.com and go to any of these pharmacies to get a reduced price. I didn't know about this until about 5-6 years ago, and I've had a lot of medical history.
It can
but my now wife, she worked in the medical industry, and the first time I went to go purchase a prescription, she's like, hey, asking for a coupon. I'm like, a coupon for a prescription? What are you talking about? I'm like, it's a doctor's office, it's a pharmacy, there's no coupons, there's no deals. It's like you pay what you pay,
So it's so capitalized on.
Oh, right. And a lot of times with insurance, it is that way. Often I found out if you don't even go through insurance, it's cheaper, and so there's a lot of these like coupon websites popping up. I think is it Mark Cuban started a company that's like has drastically reduced prescription drugs, and they're trying to fight against those insulin gouging and stuff.
You can also ask for freebies like samples from your doctor's office and from the pharmacy. They have samples a lot of times, and it'll be at least a week, if not a couple of weeks, that they can give you at a time.
Pediatricians are great for that.
Yeah.
That's true. That
is true.
Yeah, one box of insulin is like $600, over $600 without insurance.
I got an uncle in Toronto.
Well, Becky,
isn't that what we do up here? No.
So what is
need to go to Toronto for her?
Hop the border.
Is that like is that one vial 10 milliliters? Like
It's
100 units.
It's like
It's
about
like
a 30.
5,
It's
I
like
think.
a 30-day supply. This in this form, you know, you'll either get a vial or you can get like pens where you like dial it up and it has a little.
Is that what you get as a pet?
I get the pens, yeah.
That's nice.
It's like a 30-day supply is
Okay.
one box. And there's 2 kinds of insulin. You got to take both kinds. So, you know.
Sativa and indica. Yeah.
Sell bullets and band.
Totally get it.
Sell bullets and band-aids. Remember that.
Yeah.
Bullets and band-aids. I'm not going to say the corp that's doing it, but
All of them.
they're all
Probably BlackRock and
No.
Vanguard. I'll say it.
they're all under one. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Replacement in chat says compare insulin prices worldwide. Be amazed. Cost cents.
Yeah.
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 I
The pharmaceutical
got a story for
world,
you
like
guys.
that's what I was saying. The fact that there's a coupon system means it's gone too far
Inflated
for
price,
medicine. That's not medicine. You're now trying. That's what I was saying. Like the Narcan is literally just a more flash. They thought naloxone or something else wouldn't sound good, so they named it Narcan.
Well, it's. I mean, that's just kind of how science is done, though. It's all like on that kind of Latin side of things, and then they, someone comes up with like a brand, right? Like I could just call
yeah, but
everything.
we're all smart enough to be able to call it by what it is. So it's like,
Some are.
wow.
Not
Yeah. I think if we did it more, everyone would just call things by. We wouldn't have that. Like,
I mean,
mixed up.
Tylenol is acetaminophen, but you can say that in a doctor's office and be looked cross-eyed by any mom sitting in there.
Yeah, yeah.
There was they found they did samples on shit. What was it? I don't think it was oxycodone. It might have been Vicodin or some shit like that, dude. They did samples in from Mexico, pills from Mexico, and like 90% of them or 80% of them like contain fentanyl or were fentanyl or some shit like that. And it was like
I heard this too just recently.
some like I don't know if it was some like regular medicine, you know what I mean? So like if you're sourcing your stuff out of the country, you know, and it's not gone through the FDA and stuff like that, there is potential that it has been stepped on through cartel or some other means that is kind of what's happening with a lot of this stuff. And then also to say, you know, don't just you can't just say, well, you know, it's their own fault or it's on them or whatever. And I mean, the life-saving medicine, it exists, right? You know, and people become addicts for all different reasons. People become addicted to all different things, not just drugs. And you know, whether or not people consume drugs isn't the issue. You know, a lot of it is socio-economic, a lot of it is mental health, a lot of it is the combination of the two. And then there's the fact that people are just uncaring assholes a lot of time. But you know, the fact is that the medication does exist and it is available and now it is legal. And so like, you know, if it is legal, I think that the you know, the other way to kind of look at it, rather than saying, you know, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't do it, this or that or the other, like it could happen to anybody, man. It could literally, like fentanyl right now is in like all kinds of shit. It's practically in your laundry detergent. You know what I mean? Like you could accidentally fucking get fentanyl on you for just whatever stupid shit, man. You go out, you end up taking aspirin from somebody who got it from somebody who got it from somebody who got it from Mexico. And at this point, you know, who knows, you know, what the fuck's going on with the aspirin, you know? Like whatever, dude, it could be accidental overdose to some shit. I worry about when I'm at festivals, I'm worried about getting dosed from using toilet paper. I'm worried about getting dosed from urinal from porta potty handles, right? Like just shit, dude. Like, you know, not fentanyl dose. I'm talking about like getting LSD dose. Like people have been dosed by LSD working on electronic equipment. People have been dosed by LSD from working on Owsley Stanley's old synthesizers that had been dipped in vats of LSD. Like, you know, and I'm not saying that that's like every porta potty at every festival, but like, dude, there's some hippies that are cooking the shit. Maybe not cooking is probably a bad word, but working with the shit and are sweating all over everything. And it is possible to transmit that stuff through skin and contact and all kinds of stuff. And I get in my head sometimes. And so those are my paranoias, but I'm not saying like, it's all accidental. Accidents happen, right?
Wear gloves.
Yeah.
It's not about that it's.
I walk around with trim gloves on.
Bubble boy.
That's much that you shouldn't do.
You won't look weird.
The medicine's available, and so yeah, just be safe. And
yeah, definitely, yeah.
The next thing is making these paraphernalia laws make sense, because testing fentanyl, is illegal to the average consumer under paraphernalia laws that our lovely, handsome president put in place a few years ago. Before he was president. He wasn't president at the time. Fucker. All right.
All right. Here. All right.
So how's everyone's gardens doing? Because
all sneak peek and you didn't say anything.
It was
there was someone talking and we didn't want to interrupt.
Terrible timing.
Totally teasing. I was talking.
But no, because we wanted to hear about it, and it was just bad timing. But now that we have 5 minutes left, everybody quick.
That's why I was aiming.
What's
for
new?
Time, so.
But
fill the air.
we'll have a late session tomorrow. We'll have to get into everyone's garden.
And, I'm wanting to fatten these bitches up is what I'm after right now. I want these fat fucking bitches.
Oh yeah, they were looking pretty fat, so
Thanks.
everything's still looking good. I'm glad you gave me that clone.
Thanks. I'm glad you took it. Thanks. I appreciate everybody.
See how the bud turns out.
Clones that we gave out at Hash Bash. I mean, I had too many. I needed to give them out, share the wealth, and I actually gave them to a few people that were very excited. So I can't wait to see what happens. This one guy where we were doing dabs, I looked at him as like, "You want this plant?" And he's like, "Are you for real?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." So when I was walking by to leave, he's like, "Dude, this is the chick that gave me the plant."
Nice. Nobody had clones there or anything. It was I was like, huh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw with them.
You saw some? Okay. I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to walk around really, but
yeah, I know. That's one of the
from what I could see, it was all open bags or
you didn't miss it.
$100 ounce.
$200 quarter pounds. $200 quarter pounds.
That was what they were yelling at the end.
Fools? What is happening?
Yeah, it was April Fool's, but it wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
Not a joke.
I never even heard the one word what's the bowls word? I'd never even heard that before.
Bose?
What the fuck is
that? Oh, Bose. That's for like
pounds.
Bose.
Yeah, pound.
Elbow.
Short for elbow.
Elbow.
I was like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
You just boomered yourself, Tara.
They did not say that last year.
It's definitely slang. Yeah, it's definitely like slang. The
slang and both.
Dude, I mean, we used to call quarter pound cheeseburgers. Yeah, cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was all kinds of slang back in the day.
Got Big Mac. What was a Big Mac?
Quarter pounder,
triple stack quarter pounder,
with cheese.
Yeah, what if it
son
has
of a
cheese
bitch? Last time you didn't include cheese.
I don't want to say the table because obviously Fergroli was there. There was a lot of other really good, there's some good crafters there. It was a handful. They would just say a handful, but like, this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. It's just, like they're just like look like cereal boxes, just like giant Mylar cereal boxes.
Oh yeah, the big bags were a new thing for sure. They either look like cereal boxes, or I noticed they look like Gucci bags.
Yeah,
like they tried to imitate something like that or something. I was like,
oh, this is hilarious. We had
one was, so
we're just shuffling in, dude. We're just getting in. I guess right before we got 2 minutes.
Just make it quick.
And someone's showing off this rounded shaped bag. It's a weird shaped Mylar and it's all colorful. And it's just, it goes, that's fake as fuck. Yeah, we're walking by this dude. Check out. Yo, that's fake as fuck.
I wonder if he was talking about like the brand or what.
Oh, and the dude's like out of his back, off the, I think it was at the table. Like the table was right there, and he was like looking to buy some, dude. The dude was just calling him out, man. Loud as fuck, dude. We were walking by.
Probably why they put that sign, no backpack vending.
Yeah.
Shout out to chat tonight. Thanks for joining us. I also
Cheers,
put this
everybody.
up because he says support your local sea guys. There's so many are now. There's no reason, go to some scam site or something. Hit up Spartan, get some Spartan grown or something like
Oh, I
that.
got Spartan scenes.
Yeah.
For really, did I give you some seeds, man?
No, man. What the heck, man?
I got some.
All right. Don't worry. I labeled them with a proper label.
Properly labeled.
Yeah, that's a one of a kind label.
But it's a double barrel too. I see.
Yeah, well, he labeled his strain on the inside.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you, chat. Thank you, sponsors, Dick's Medibles. Hit us up tomorrow at the late sesh. We'll get into some other shit. I want to talk tomorrow for Girly about the grimace you got from the anti-solvent, because that was hilarious and it really showed me how there's a divide in the cannabis community.
Though, really.
That was only one, but we didn't egg any more on.
Yeah, come on.
We'll explain it tomorrow night on the late sesh, 11 o'clock Eastern. And see you there.
24 hours. Set the timer. Hey, Google, set a timer for 24 hours. That was a mistake.
Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
Keep growing.